So we all know there's a lot going on in the world, but what the heck is going on in America? And I'm being dead serious too, because there's like tons of countries that are warning people not to travel to America. So what is happening, and is it safe? Side note, y'all should have seen that look that girl just gave me. Man, she was like... working. Just finishing up a bit of work. Gonna go ahead, go on my lunch break and grab a coffee, and let's talk about what's going on. And also on that note, I do have to state that these are just my opinions and from my perspective. This ain't a diss track, but if you want to pull up in the comments after you hit that subscribe button. Cube houses. But yeah, man, everybody I talk to has been saying the same thing. Like, it is getting crazy over there. Like, what is going on? Actually, matter of fact, my wife and I were just planning her birthday, which is coming up in a couple of months. And we were thinking about going to Ireland. We always go somewhere for her birthday. And we were planning this trip. Usually her family comes, like her mom and her sister. And they don't even want to leave the States because they're afraid of getting detained. And I know that might sound weird, but this wouldn't be, like, this is possible. Matter of fact, my other friend he was just going to Mexico for spring break told me that they held him for like 3 hours. 3 hours. And Pimpin', he's American. Like, he ain't nothing else. He's one of those dudes that's just full on American. But yeah, man, they detained him like an American citizen. And this is not the first. Like, they're detaining people who are legally allowed to be over there. And a story that a lot of these people are telling, it like there was a couple of Germans that were like, that got detained, that were telling their stories, and it was on the BBC, and it sounds crazy. Even my friend who got detained, they just held him for 3 hours, maybe 4, I can't remember, and he was handcuffed in a room, and yeah, he couldn't do nothing. Like, he just had to wait 3 hours. And honestly though too, it says a lot about the freedom you have in America. You have the freedom until you step out of line, or you look like you're about to step out of line. Because man, they will tighten that leash so tight, you'll be detained for like 3 hours. And Pimpin', he got lucky, because people who are just visiting, like I heard this story about this German girl who went, and she was detained for like a couple of weeks. And man, I'm not gonna lie, that is a bit scary. Like, the last thing I need is to be flying to the States with my family, because we go often enough. But the last thing I need is to be going into the States, going with my family, and them just looking at me like a certain way, like, oh, you from the Netherlands, huh? You live in the Netherlands, but you American? That doesn't sound suspicious at all. And then boom, slap the cuffs on me, and I'm detained for like 2 weeks. Look, man, I did my nickel. I ain't going back. Like, I ain't going back. God dang, there's a line going outside of McDonald's. Wow. And I know I'm making jokes and I'm making light of the situation, but this is a serious thing, and it is a bit concerning that they're not only like detaining people that for just suspicious reasons, but they're detaining people accidentally. Like, how is that even, like, how do you get accidentally detained for like a month? But yeah, man, it is crazy. Like, they giving out smoke to everybody. If you just look funny, and Pimpin', I look funny, okay? I smile a lot. They are equal opportunity smoke givers. So me and my wife, we may not be going back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be real. I had some plans coming up, but I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it, because just like my wife's sister, my wife also travels on her, even though she's a US citizen, has her American passport, she also has an Irish passport. And I couldn't imagine something happening to her. Like, I just couldn't imagine. And this all sounds crazy and a little paranoid-ish until it's happened, and I'm letting you guys know it's happening. Like, it is happening. So I did my nickel. I can't be locked up. How would I even make these videos? And now, a quick side note, if you couldn't tell, I am in Rotterdam today. I actually went to the camera store that I really like, and they didn't have what I needed. So yeah, I just went ahead and just got to work at a cafe, chilled there for a bit, waited till my lunch break, and now walking to another cafe. And actually, it is a cafe that someone recommended. 2 people recommended. One time in a video I did in Rotterdam a long time ago, and in last week's video. So we are pulling up, and we've taken my secret, like my secret spot area. Like this is full on secret. Don't ignore those people sitting down there, as well as that guy right there. This is, nobody knows about this, so don't tell nobody. And now look, I hope this does not sound like a broken record, but something else that my wife and I talked about when we were considering traveling was, is it safe? Meaning, like, the last time we were in this situation, it got, let's just say, the violence kind of shot up. And now, pimpin', this is not everywhere, but there was an increase, especially the increase in, like, political violence as well as hate crimes, and just the polarization of the country just kind of increased. And matter of fact, I have mentioned this before in a sense of, I've told in so many videos about how the increase of mass shootings was like unreal. And the reason I mentioned this in other videos is because I would have to go into work on hours that I wasn't supposed to work, or the weekends. And one time I even brought my son, like on a Sunday, or it was either Saturday or a Sunday, where he was a baby, to the studio to change out some commercials because there was another mass shooting. And now listen, I don't know if that's gonna happen this time. I don't know. Again, I ain't trying to sound like a broken record. But I'm just saying what I know and what I noticed the last time he was in office. I mean, the way he spoke, how he talked about certain people, that stuff mattered. And I mean, it mattered to the point where I still remember right before we came to the Netherlands, he said something about this government official who was in Michigan or in Detroit. And there were people who actively tried to like go and kidnap this woman. Like, I can't remember exactly who this person was because we lived in LA, but my wife's family was in Michigan. And it was like all over the news at the time. So is it worth it? Like, is it worth taking the risk of going and getting caught up in something that I have nothing to do with? Because just like my friend who got detained, he ain't do nothing. He wasn't an illegal immigrant. He wasn't a criminal, nothing. And he still got caught up in it. And man, you know what's so crazy is, just like countries are warning people now to be careful going to the States, like go with caution, they were doing the same thing when I mentioned, like how I mentioned there was a huge uptick in like mass shootings and stuff. They did the same thing back then. A bunch of countries basically was like, look, if you thinking about going to America, you might want to rethink it. Now, on a lighter note, we are almost at that cafe that you guys recommended. It's actually north. It's like Rotterdam North. So instead of going out the other way, south, you go north. Because south is like the front of the train station, so you would go behind the train station. And yeah, this is where a lot of people recommend it. So I am, well, not a lot, just 2. And this is it. This is the place that a lot of people, or 2 people, recommended to me. Met Man Brill Coffee. I think that's what it's called. I think. Let me read it again. It's Man Met Brill and Coffee. Now, man, this is a dope little spot, man. Especially with they got like a whole. I think this whole area is like a no smoking though, which is pretty dope. And yeah, nothing fancy today. Just ordered a cappuccino and some honey to make a skypuccino. Uh-oh, somebody robbing a bank. And now the last reason I would have to say to be cautious about like going to the States, or at least why we're cautious about going to the States, it's just how uncertain things are. Like, man, like this, look, it's like dumb, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. But this whole tariff war thing, man, it is up and down and back and forth, and who knows what kind of ramifications are gonna come from this. Like, nobody knows. The price of everything has not gone down, and it's only been going up, and it's most likely gonna get worse, especially with this back and forth stuff. Oh, thank you. Oh no, they don't have a little cookie or a snack. And they didn't bring out the honey. Dang it. Oh man, good thing for me though, I got my own honey. Well, since you don't get a little treat, that's definitely points off. Oh, that's pretty good. It's a little It's not as hot as I would like it to be, but yeah, it's not bad, to be honest. It's a good cappuccino, man. But no cookie, no snack. Come on, Pam. Come on. What's above here?
It used to be.
All right, so apparently there used to be a train track up there, or maybe tram track. So yeah, that's what the cafe barista said. Now I will have to say that place is cool. I wouldn't. Yeah, I would give it a 9. Like for real, the cappuccino was sauce. Like it was good. But yeah, just get back on the topic. It is so uncertain now. Like these tariffs are going in, then they're coming out, then they're going in and coming out. Like I would not be surprised. Now hear me out. Look, I know this is gonna sound crazy. I would not actually. I'm gonna say this on the low. And I do gotta say this is just speculation. I don't know for real. But I would not be surprised if there was like some insider trading or something going on, pimping. I would not even be surprised. I mean, look at what's happening. Tariffs go in place, or they're proposed, everything tanks. Then they're like, oh, psych, nah, just kidding. Everything shoots back up. You telling me that's not, like, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't a genius or nothing, but something's not right. I'm telling you, something is not right. And now, although it's not like a good time for me and my family to be going back to the States or traveling back and forth between the States, that doesn't mean it may not be a good time for you, because who knows? But everybody not traveling back to the States, you might find some good deals. Woo-hoo-hoo, man, it is sunny. Look at that white balance, all blue. And also I had to take off my jacket. It was hot on that train. But yeah, it might be a great time for you to travel due to the price of traveling, and not just going to America, but also leaving America. I will say though, if it were me, I would make sure to have everything in order. Like no joke, make sure if you staying for a long period of time, make sure you have the right visas or whatever. And make sure if you're an American citizen or on a green card or something, pimping, make sure you have all of that stuff ready when you come back to America. And then I hate to say this, but be prepared to possibly be detained, especially if you've been traveling a lot. That's what my family is concerned about, because we travel so much, it can look some type of way. I'm not even joking. And we're Americans who live in the Netherlands, so who knows? Like, nobody knows. Because this is something that my wife's family is worried about, because they travel so much. They're worried about getting back into America. So I would say just make sure you have everything in order, and make sure, like, look, don't have no outstanding tickets, because I heard, like, my friend said the conditions are not that great. Like, I'm not even joking, man. The conditions that he told me, I'm like, holy cow, like, this sounds terrible. So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up for Americans. I mean, again, just make sure you ain't got no outstanding bills, or I don't even know if they could detain you for bills, but I'm just saying, man, make sure you ain't got no outstanding bills, no freaking outstanding tickets, nothing. Hopefully you didn't miss a court date. That would be the advice that I would give to any American traveling, like traveling to Europe or Asia, whatever. That would be the advice I would give to Americans. For everybody else, it's a toss-up. I don't know. Like, I would say check online, check at the embassy, see if there's anything you need. But make sure you have it in order. Look, I don't know everything you need. I'm just Sky Money. But in my opinion, don't just buy your ticket and just go. Make sure you have everything in order. Also, if you got a green card, make sure this stuff is in order. And unfortunately for me, I had some plans, but yeah, again, I think this year, I might have to pass. Okay, now real quick, I did want to just throw it out there. Look, the things that I said, they might not be true. I'm just saying, I'm just following the breadcrumbs. But look, I ain't accusing nobody of nothing. So look, don't come after me. Look, I ain't got nothing. I'm as broke as a joke. I'm so broke, I can't pay attention. Matter of fact, Forget everything I said earlier in the video, okay? Just forget it. Also, if you hear kids screaming, it's because there's the festival is right next to. But yeah, man, look. Don't come after me.